Hello, welcome to Jenny's Food Network. Today I want to talk about the benefits of ginger, which I feel that people should know. I mean, sometimes people tend to think of ginger, okay, it's a ginger, I don't really use that in my food, or I don't drink ginger stuff. So ginger is it's a rhizome, okay? It's an underground stem, that's what it is. It's also known as like ginger root, and there's a lot of like health benefits when it comes to ginger. It comes in a form of the fresh ginger. It also comes in a powder form, dried form. It also comes in like a oil or a juice form as well. So for the ginger root, there's a lot of health benefits to it. Like, it really helps if you have morning sickness or you feel nauseous. If you're going through chemotherapy for your cancer, it's going to make you feel very nauseous, like you just want to constantly want to throw up. And eating ginger really helps on that. Ginger also helps on muscle pain or soreness from a good workout. And it really helps with pain from having arthritis. It will help with your upper respiratory tract infections, even if you have bronchitis, if you're coughing. You know, like I said, it really helps with when you're feeling nauseous, as I've mentioned. So it's also really good for menstrual cramp. Like if you are having your PMS, or you know, you're gonna have your menstruation pretty soon, your monthly thing, and if you intake right when you start having it, or even a few days before you know that you're gonna have your period, you can intake ginger tea, or you can make your own. Like I said, ginger comes in a dry packet form of or in tea leaves. So you could have ginger tea that's already pre-made in a tea packet. Or you can cut fresh ginger and boil it for about an hour on low setting, because you don't want to overboil it too fast because it's just going to evaporate. So you just simmer, cook it, and have it boil up to an hour so it's not so strong flavor where it burns your mouth, you know, because ginger does have a spicy flavor to it. So you're like, okay, how do I go about intaking ginger? Well, they do have ginger capsules out there, but I highly recommend to stay away from vitamins and pill forms. I do highly recommend you could do the tea bag form where it's pre-packed ginger tea, or you could go for the fresh ginger, which is the best, because I highly recommend seriously about the fresh ginger because it's in its own packed form. It's not being overly processed into a tea bag form, or it's not processed into a juice form, which could be an old product that is preserved, you know. And it's not, and oil, it's another form. Ginger could be made into an oil form as well, but I highly recommend the fresh ginger root because it still has its juices in there. It still has its nutrients, antioxidants in there. And the enzymes are really nice and fresh and live. So I normally don't buy the tea bag form of the ginger. I usually just go straight to the grocery store and buy it fresh. And that's its best form. And I think that's when it's going to help you the most, where it's like really strong and effective on what you need it to do. So if you're on your period, for example, it is really, really true. I really didn't know that it helped like menstrual cramp, you know, until my sister told me. And I used to have like these really painful menstrual cramp in the morning where I could barely even walk. Like, it's so painful. And I would have to bite my teeth until the contractions are gone. So when women are going through menstruation, there's contraction when the heavy blood flow is coming, and it hurts so bad. So it is really true, because when I started I would cut fresh ginger, I would boil it for an hour, and I would have my green tea. I would drink my green tea. I would usually make a tall pitcher, like a 64-ounce tall pitcher of tea, and I would use about 10 to 12 tea bags of green tea, and I'd boil it with the fresh chopped ginger. And I would try to chop it, minced down pretty small, and then I would add honey in it. I would also boil the lemons or limes in with it, with the skin as well. I would squeeze out the juice and keep it on the side first, and then I would the skin itself, I would keep it and boil it in, because there's a lot of antioxidants and minerals and a lot of nutrients in the skin itself. That's what's going to help you a lot as well. So boil that, and after an hour you could remove the tea bags if you like, and remove the skin. And I would then put the honey in at the end, and once I've mixed it up, then I would add the juice in it. And also, don't forget, if you add a little bit of salt, if you sprinkle some salt in that, it would help kind of clear up your throat as well. It really helps. The salt will help clear your throat, and it'll make you feel better. It's kind of like gargling with salt, but you'll be ingesting it. Not too much salt, just enough just for flavor, and it will really help your throat. So it's like a home remedy tea. And so like I said, I use the filtered water, the chopped ginger or minced ginger. Just chop it up real fine if you can, because it's a lot of work as well. Make sure you peel the skin, of course, which is like the woody stem. Peel that off, and then chop it up, throw it in there, and let it boil. And towards the end, you could add the honey in, the salt, and then you could add the lemon or lime juice at the end. And when you're boiling, make sure you throw the skin as well, the lemon or lime skin. Throw that in there and boil that as well. Okay, so at the end, like I said, put the salt, the honey, and the lemon juice at the end. Okay, because when you're boiling it, there will be some liquid evaporation. Okay, and you don't want your liquid to be all evaporated, so you just wait to put the good stuff at the end. Okay. And so that really helps. And you know what I love to do? I love to eat the ginger. It'll still be kind of spicy, you know, because I like to use a lot of ginger. I mean, you decide how much ginger you want to put in. You could probably start with a little bit. Let's do about, for an 8-ounce cup of ginger, you could probably start off with like you could probably start off with like 1 teaspoon of ginger. But for me, I like to do a big picture, so I just use like a big chunk of ginger. So it really depends. Know your body, know how much your taste buds can take, because they can be pretty spicy when it gets boiled in with the water and stuff. So that's like a home remedy to help with coughs and sinus congestion. So it really, oh, by the way, it also really, ginger really helps with sinus congestion and throat congestion. So when you're feeling like you're coughing a lot, you feel there's a knot in your throat and you've just been coughing a lot, the ginger tea really helps. And just to let you know, by experience, the fresh ginger, you know how you chop it up and you put it and boil it? If the ginger root itself, if you do decide to chew it and eat it fresh, it could give you a burning sensation in your throat, you know, so just ingest very little at a time. But if you're having some really bad coughs, you know, avoid chewing too much, or just don't chew it, you know. And you could just like, you could just drink the liquid that you prepare, like the home remedy liquid. But but don't chew on the ginger root, because it can make you start coughing and stuff and irritate your throat a bit. But if you don't want to throw it out, then just save it and just use it for your soup, because that's gonna be pretty good. Because when you're putting the ginger in with your soup, with your veggies and stuff, and later on if you want, you could add rice in your soup as well. It's not, you can chew it a bit, it could break up the concentration, that's what I mean. It won't be as strong because you're diluting the ginger pieces that you have chopped up. It's going to blend in with the rice, the soup, you know, with the veggies, if you want tofu in it or chicken in it, you know. So I recommend that if you don't want to waste the chopped ginger. So like I said, there's a lot of health benefits. Like if you're getting motion sickness from being in the airplane, or you know, you're feeling nauseous, whatever, for whatever reason, like I said, with the chemotherapy, if you have cancer, feeling nauseous all the time, the ginger will definitely help ease the you know, ease the feeling of wanting to throw up. And like I said, if you have morning sickness, if you're pregnant, the ginger will really help that as well. Like I said, you could do it many ways. It comes in a fresh form where you buy at the grocery store. It comes in a powder form, oil form, and also the juice form, okay? And you could always chop fresh ginger into your soups, into your stir fry, or whatever food that you want to intake with. And people might figure out, well, how do you go about cooking? Well, you could boil, if you want to make soup, you could boil it, and then you could add the stuff that you want to cook with. You could add a little oil into your wok or stir fry pan, add a little oil, and then put some chopped ginger in there to cook it a little more so it's not so strong. It'll give a delicious flavor. You could add some minced garlic ginger into the oil as well and fry that, and it gives a really beautiful, delicious, yummy aroma to it. Okay, it'll make your dishes have a little bit of that spice flavor to it. It's got tons of health benefits as well, based on what I had mentioned earlier. And also, ginger goes very well with garlic. Okay, make sure when you make soups or stir fry, make sure you add minced garlic, because the garlic and ginger are known for like really good for your sinus congestion. Is really good for respiratory problems, you know, and it's really good for your blood overall. So a lot of nutrients, a lot of antioxidants that are very beneficial to you. And like I said, the best form are the fresh forms, like the fresh ginger and the fresh garlic. Those are the best, okay? Because if it's in a powder form, a lot of the juices have been removed. It's overly processed, okay? The flavoring is going to be kind of weird. When I was cooking a lot, I tried the powder form of the garlic and ginger. It's completely, almost like totally different, because the food tastes different too. The fresh garlic and ginger gives you that zesty spicy flavor to it, and it makes your food taste amazing. But when you use the powder form, you don't really get that zesty spike flavor. You really don't. So you're better off just not even buying the powder form, even though it's a nice shortcut, but it is totally different. And the nutritious level of it is completely different. It's really nutritious to get the fresh form compared to the powder, because the powder has been overly processed. The juices and flavor have been evaporated and removed, and now it's just all down to a powder form, okay? And in the dried form, like I said, it comes in a dried form as well. And like I said, it's dried out and it's pretty much being processed and preserved. So you're best having it the fresh form, even though it takes effort to remove the skin and, you know, chop it up or however way you want to use it, okay? So, like I said, ginger has a lot of health benefits. So if you're feeling kind of sick, feeling you're getting the flu or you're getting a cold, make some of that home remedy tea drink that I mentioned, okay? With the salt, lemon, honey, the filtered water, and add some of your favorite tea bags in there, okay? And you could, don't put the garlic in it, but use the ginger, okay? It's gonna taste weird with garlic in your tea drink, okay? So you want the ginger, all right? And if you're coughing a lot, try not to chew and eat the fresh ginger, because it might irritate your throat and cause like a really burning sensation, and it might trigger you to cough more, because that's what happened to me. Every time I chewed on the ginger, ooh, it would burn my throat so much, and it'll make me cough even more. So don't chew in the fresh ginger, but do drink it after you have boiled it, okay? And just remove the ginger, and if you don't want to throw it out, use it for your soup or add it into your food, okay? So that's a way to reuse your ginger. And I believe that's just about it. And like I said, just to summarize, it's good if you have muscle pain, arthritis, feeling nauseous, you want to throw up. It's good for morning sickness if you're pregnant, if you're getting your period, your menstruation coming up. Intake some of that ginger tea, okay? And I recommend using the fresh ginger. It will reduce a lot of cramping pain. Oh, believe me, I would have these really intense pain. Ever since I started hitting my 30s in my age. When I was in my 20s, my menstruation pain wasn't so bad, but when I started hitting my 30s, because I'm 36 years old now, so, oh my goodness, it's horrible. The pain is unbearable. I could barely even walk. I would have to drop down to the ground until the contraction is gone, because the period, you would have contractions, hours in between, and it would be so painful you could barely even walk. So intake your ginger and you will thank me for that. And I read something about how be careful in taking ginger if you're intaking stuff like aspirin and warfarin medication. Like I said, aspirin and warfarin medication, I think it interferes with that, okay? So be careful when intaking ginger and those type of medication. And also, another thing, I don't remember, it was something about the ingredient in Tylenol. or something. I don't recall, but I'll do my research on that, okay? And I'll do another video about that. So yeah, there's a lot of health benefits to it. Like I said, the side effects of intaking ginger, like if you're getting like an allergic reaction or you're not feeling it, that you're liking the taste of how strong fresh ginger is, then you might just have to boil it more. If you don't want to make a tea drink with ginger in it because you might think it's too strong, then use less ginger. Like I said, start with a teaspoon of ginger for an 8-ounce cup of tea. Or you could even use half of that, okay? Depends, okay? For me, I'm a ginger person. I love to use a lot. And yes, it burns my mouth, but I get used to it. I just sip a little at a time. Or I make a big tall pitcher of it and leave it in my fridge. So do as you like. And that's it for the information about benefits of ginger. Alright, so go buy some ginger. Use the fresh ones if you can. If you don't like it in a tea drink because it's too strong, use less ginger, or like I said, put it in your soups or put it in your stir fry, okay? That's it. Thank you.